Next morning, another surprise awaited me. I walked down to the beach and it was quite deserted. As far as I could see, I was the only holiday maker in Corsica. Floating in the warm, buoyant water, I was beginning to think I had better change my plans and go somewhere else. When I heard the sound of a motorboat and the voices of fishermen calling me, I looked round and there was Michel. "Come on board," he signalled. "I can't. My clothes are on the beach," but that didn't worry him. He dived overboard and quickly returned to the boat, swimming with one hand and carrying my bag with the other. The little boat headed out to sea. Although I could see no nets or tackle, I understood that we were going fishing. I was a bit surprised when Michel produced a guitar and started to sing, but I soon learned that young Corsicans will serenade you at the drop of a hat. After a while, things began to happen. The boat stopped and Louis, one of the fishermen, began hauling in a line. I realized then that they were bringing in lobster pots. In fact, it wasn't lobster they were after, but langoust, a smaller and more delicate kind of shellfish. This one was a lobster and a monster too. When the catch was made and most of the pots relayed, we went ashore to a pretty little beach to land the pots that had been damaged and to eat lunch. Louis and Paul, Michel's two friends, spoke only Corsican, an Italian-sounding dialect. But they were great fun in any language and accepted me as one of themselves in the most natural, charming way. On the way home, Michel sang to me again, and I knew that it was his voice that I had heard the night before. We met often after that, but always there was the barrier of language. "What do you do?" Michel asked in comic English. I tried to demonstrate that I was a secretary, but he couldn't get it. So out came my phrase book, and after that we got along fine. There are odd obvious advantages in having Michel as escort. He was Corsican and could show me things about the island that only someone born there would understand. For example, who would have thought of eating the fruit from that frightening-looking cactus bush? But Michel knew how to do it. He was careful not to touch the skin. It was covered with poisonous prickles. The soft fruit inside, called Barbary Fig, was delicious. Far from missing the atmosphere of a crowded holiday resort, I was perfectly happy to spend the days in and around the Gulf. We fished a lot. Michel said I brought him luck. And there was a little restaurant Michel knew where they cooked our fish for nothing and were quite happy so long as we bought a bottle of wine to go with it. Ours was a perfect holiday friendship. We talked a lot, went for long walks in the eucalyptus forests, and made plans to meet again sometime. Yes, we were becoming fond of each other. We both loved swimming. Michel, like most Corsicans, could swim like a fish. One day he decided I must learn underwater swimming. He showed me how to put on the mask and the air tube. It seemed simple enough. But my first attempt wasn't a great success. A glimpse of that dark, frightening seabed and a mouthful of water through my air tube put me right off. But Michel persisted. A little more instruction and I let myself be persuaded, much against my better judgment. But this time I got the knack of it, and I felt I had entered a new world, silent, mysterious, and when you were used to it, very beautiful. One night a freak gale sprang up so that in the morning, although the wind had died down, there was a tremendous surf breaking. I would have been quite happy to admire it from the shore, but Michel dragged me in. The undertow was terrific and seemed to me dangerous, so I escaped as soon as I could. But Michel was in his element and kept trying to scare me. Perhaps that was the best day of all. The sea roared and the sun shone. We seemed to be the only people left in the world.